Run to your mother. Now.
Long before the myth, before the fangs and the fear, before whispers of vampires in the night, there was a man, not a monster. He was a warrior forged in war, a prince burdened by his past, a husband wrapped in love, and a father who would give everything for his son. His name is Vlad III, the Prince of Wallachia, raised not in comfort, but in chains of duty and bloodshed. Vlad was taken from his home at a young age. Handed over to the Ottoman Empire as tribute, he was raised under the gaze of his enemies. Among strangers, among conquerors. Trained by their hand, taught to kill by their sword. He became one of the Sultan's most feared warriors, a prodigy of war, a commander of unspeakable cruelty. A man so merciless on the battlefield, they named him Vlad the Impaler, but behind that brutality was a soul crying out for peace. Years passed. Vlad returned to his homeland, Transylvania, not as a boy, but as a hardened man. Haunted by the atrocities he had committed, he cast aside the sword and built a life rooted in love. At his side, Myrina, his queen, a woman of warmth and unwavering strength. With her, he found something he never thought possible, peace. Together, they had a son, Indras, whose innocence lit up the darkest corners of Vlad's world. In the shadows of his castle, Vlad ruled not with fear, but with compassion. He brought stability to his people, prosperity to his lands. But peace is always temporary when empires loom on the horizon. The Turks returned, cloaked in arrogance and armed with demands. Sultan Mehmed II, once Vlad's brother-in-arms, now his adversary, demanded 1,000 boys for his army, 1,000 innocent lives, to be stripped from their mother's arms, to be shaped into monsters the way Vlad once was. And among them, he wanted Vlad's son. It was a choice no father should ever have to make. And so Vlad refused. He shed diplomacy, and in that act, declared war.
Run to your mother. Now.
We're not just against an empire, but against fate itself. Knowing the wrath of the Sultan would be swift and merciless, Vlad sought power beyond mortal reach. Legends whispered of a cursed being, imprisoned within a dark mountain known as Broken Tooth. In the heart of that cave, surrounded by bones and darkness, Vlad met the monster, a vampire, ancient and withered, cursed by his own thirst. The vampire offered salvation and damnation. Drink and become more than human. A creature of unmatched power, capable of stopping entire armies. But with that power came a test. For 3 days, Vlad would bear the curse. If he resisted the temptation of human blood, the darkness would fade. If he failed, he would be lost to it forever. Driven by desperation, Vlad accepted. He drank. The moment the blood touched his lips, his body convulsed. His veins burned, his bones cracked. The pain was blinding. And then, silence. Clarity. His senses surged. He could hear the heartbeat of a deer a mile away. He could see every grain of dust in the night air. He was reborn. And with his rebirth came devastation. The Turks sent scouts to size up Wallachia's defenses. Vlad slaughtered them all single-handedly. Faster than their eyes could track, stronger than any blade could break. He became a shadow in the trees, a ghost in the battlefield. Men fled at the mere sound of his name, but with each passing hour, the thirst grew. The hunger clawed at his mind, whispering, tempting. He hid it from Myrina, but the change in him was impossible to ignore. His touch was colder, his stare longer, his words fewer. She saw the man she loved slipping beneath something darker. And still, she loved him. More battles came. Vlad moved like wine through the battlefield, summoning the very elements to his will. He could transform into a swarm of bats, fly across landscapes, devastate legions in minutes. His people saw their prince become a god. They called him protector, savior. But reverence quickly curdled into fear. Whispers of witchcraft spread. A priest recognized what he truly was. Holy relics burned his skin. And the very people he protected began to fear the creature behind the crown. They turned on him. Armed with fire and stakes, they tried to kill him. But Vlad had become more than mortal. As the third day approached, the line between man and monster blurred. Vlad felt himself slipping. His strength waned under the sun. His thirst sharpened. And then, the tragedy struck that would seal his fate. Sultan Mehmed, in a final act of cruelty, abducted Myrina and their son. In the cold stone tower of the monastery, Vlad fought through an army to reach them. But the Sultan knew of his curse. As Vlad climbed, men threw Myrina from the tower. Vlad dove, wings outstretched, but caught her too late. In her dying breath, she begged him to drink her blood, to become what he must in order to save their son. In agony, he obeyed. And in that moment, the last sliver of his humanity was consumed. Dracula was born. With no time left, he returned to the battlefield, where the few survivors of his people lay dying. One final choice: join him in darkness or perish. They chose vengeance. And in the black of night, an army of vampires descended upon the Turkish forces. The battle was swift and brutal. Vlad faced Mehmed in single combat. The Sultan, having prepared, wielded silver. But even silver could not stop the wrath of a father avenging his wife, protecting his son. Mehmed fell. The Ottoman threat died with him, but victory came with a curse. His new vampire army, drunk with power, lost all control. Vlad, now fully Dracula, destroyed them one by one. He could not allow the darkness to spread. He sacrificed everything, even those who followed him, to protect his son. At dawn, the boy was saved, carried away by the faithful priest. Vlad, alone, walked into the light, not to die, but to disappear. Centuries passed. Now in a world of steel and neon, he walks among us. Immortal, undying, unseen. In the heart of a modern city, he crosses paths with a woman. Her face, identical to Myrina's. Her presence, a whisper of the life he once knew. The past echoes through eternity. The man behind the monster still walks. This was Dracula Untold. And sometimes, the most terrifying monsters are the ones born from love, loss, and sacrifice.